I would like to ask Dr. Varsha, which Ayurvedic ghee is good, Dr. Varsha?
Okay, so namaste to all of you who are listening today. It's ghee actually, when we say it has to be only one ghee, and that's all it is known about. But once you advertise something or once something is promoted, then the variations begin. But until this consumerization, I should say, started, I never knew there is another type of ghee. So what I knew is the ghee what was made in our home, and that's all about it. And we never knew what is a commercial ghee unless when it's brought to market, and then the gaga over it, whether it's good, it's not good, whether it's adding weight or cholesterol or so many things. So traditionally prepared ghee is what is the ghee. That's all I can say about, and I don't know any other ghee that is existing.
See, dear friends, she's right. When anything comes into the market, it gets commercialized, and commercial production is more for profit. So you have to understand there are various methods of ghee production, but the common is 100% ghee production, which happens in big factories. Now that production is nothing like what your mom's or my mom or her mom did at home. And that is definitely not Ayurvedic ghee. There's a certain method of production which makes ghee the real Ayurvedic ghee and which is beneficial to our health. So I would like to ask Dr. Varsha, what are the steps which go in production of a good ghee or a good Ayurvedic ghee?
Yes. So when we say it's Ayurvedic ghee, we have to understand this term Ayurveda, and it's not something only remaining to the textbooks or the Vedas. It's something that is integral part of our lives, and how the knowledge has been traditionally actually transformed to us. So in the text or in our tradition, if we have seen, there is a certain process that happens while making a ghee. And in Ayurveda, the word is used as samskara. And the benefit of a samskara is, or the definition of samskara is, it's gunantara dhanam, means it changes its property. So if we say milk is bad and the end product is going to be ghee, then are we going to look through the same lens to the ghee? So because there are different samskaras happening, that means transformation at different levels, the ghee has a different quality than what the milk has to be there. So now we'll see step by step how the ghee is made. First thing is to get the milk and to get a right milk. So now where it is, and then we have all these kinds of milk, A1, A2. Again, before a certain era, we were not knowing that there are other kinds of milk also existing, and it was only our traditional cows. Now when I say traditional cows, it's not those Jersey cows. And in India we have predominantly the cows which have a hump on their neck, and there's a lot of skin folds at the neck, and the ears are long. So these are the traditional cows. The hump has a significance. There are certain nadis over there, the Surya nadi or the transformation, and the milk coming from this cow. Yes, over here in big cities, you get again products of A2 milk and all. So if we get a right source of milk, we have to boil the milk first. So that's
Dr.
our
Varsha,
stage
if
now.
I can add before you move on, the right milk also has to be, unfortunately in today's world, I have to say this, has to be organic milk. If the cow is pumped with hormones, if the cow is an unhappy cow, if a cow is in pain and her children are killed, there's no way that milk is going to be good. Don't you agree, Dr.
I
Varsha?
agree totally. Yes.
Okay.
So
Continuing
yes,
further.
that's what traditionally when we are rearing cows, they are left open in the free pastures to graze. They are not just blocked over there and forcefully fed. So the freedom of movement enhances the lighter quality in the milk.
Yes.
That's why these days there are so many lactose intolerant people, because the milk that is coming, it's not going to get digested. So it's not problem with the digestive system, it's what you consume is getting difficult to digest. This is first part. So getting the right milk and boiling is our first stage. So we have done something called as Agni Samskara on it. So that's our Samskara 1. Once we get the milk and we allow it to cool, there's a cream setting over it. Along with that cream and the milk, we put a little bit of yogurt into it, and set it aside for about overnight or 8 to 10 hours. So this is the second samskara happening, that you are giving a time. The Kala samskara has happened. So after that period, we get the whole thing as yogurt. Now here I would like to mention is, it's not something, a sour ingredient you have added to curdle it. So if you are curdling it, it is curd.
Yes.
But if you are putting a yogurt into it,
Yes.
and you are turning it into yogurt, that's a yogurt. Otherwise, the curdling process can be done with, let's say, lime juice or vinegar, and that's not a yogurt that we are talking, or what you know as dahi or a curd. So curd by definition will be curdling of the milk, and yogurt is what we are talking to take in this process.
And this yogurt has got those lactobacilli, which again work on the milk solids. So that is what she is trying to say, the differentiation between just curdling and culturing, as it is called.
Yes. So now this is the second samskara that we have finished on what the original product was, milk. Now once we get this yogurt, we have to churn it. Now mostly people think, okay, put it in some mixie or put it in a blender, or use a egg beater or something. But I'll stick to the tradition. And the traditional, we have this kind of an instrument. So now this is a proper traditional instrument where it's a wooden stick, and it has such grooves in it. And the method of using this is, you churn it between your hand. So see, it goes clockwise and it goes anti-clockwise. It goes clockwise and anti-clockwise. Now once this is done, with the clockwise and anti-clockwise movement, putting that in the bowl of the yogurt that you have made, the certain amount of temperature is maintained continuously. This enables the solids to separate. So what eventually is going to happen is, the water part is going to remain down, which we will call as buttermilk, and the butter is going to surface up, and it would solidify nicely if this action is done. To get the butter out, if we do it separately with the churning stick like this, it's going to be more beneficial. So this is a third samskara happening on it, to get the buttermilk and the butter from the yogurt, which is got from the milk. So at this level, but if we do with a blender, or let's say we mix the butter into the buttermilk, then that buttermilk is also becoming heavy for digestion, which normally in Ayurveda, the buttermilk is called as takram, and it is said as takram laghu kashayamla. So it's laghu means it's light for digestion. But which buttermilk is light for digestion or enhances a better digestive property is the one where the butter is separated off and you get the liquid part of it. Now this butter you collect. You get a sufficient quantity of butter. If you don't have that day, you can store it. But otherwise you take this butter, and from this, the next samskara is happening, again the Agni samskara over it. We are going to heat this butter. We are going to take it in a different vessel and begin to heat. So it's not just liquefied butter or a clarified butter, which there's a big theory going on to it. So once this butter is beginning to boil, initially you will see foam coming, some bubbles coming, the water part getting evaporated, and you have to be very careful, do it with great patience, not just burn it up by putting it in high flame, nor keep it too low and make it too stagnant. So in a right flame, when this process is done very gently, the solids begin to separate and another liquid part comes, and the Ayurvedic definition over here is Fena Shantischa Sarpihi. So the Fena means the foam, and the foam Shantihi means it settles.
Cool downs.
That is the sign of a Sarpi, that means of a ghee. But if you are preparing a oil, Fenodbhava it is said. So we have to stop at that level. So once the bubble comes and it begins to settle, we settle with this ghee preparation. We don't allow it to burn because all the solids would stick down at the bottom of the vessel. So here we have to be careful, and then use a filter, and then this aromatic liquid is ready. So this is definitely a kind of a fat. It is a saturated fat, but something that will not line up your arteries or you have to worry about. Why? Because it has undergone so many samskaras, the Agni samskara, the Kala samskara, the churning samskara, which generates the natural Agni. So the gunas, the properties of it have become lighter. So what we started first and what we are getting, the end product, is completely different, and the chemical analysis cannot determine, okay, this is this. And it's not that. It's the samskara, the subtle qualities,
Absolutely.
which is beyond your microscope and things, are generated. So this we
Absolutely.
called as sattvic aspect.
Absolutely.